Hi, I'm Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying them, then I have to review them online. So this is going to be the review of Fear Itself Wolverine #1 here with a lovely Daniel Acuna cover here. I don't think he's done a lot of covers in the past, or I haven't seen a lot of his covers in the past, so it's kind of nice to see that here. The only real problem is this giant, ugly Fear Itself header that is all over all of my books. While I understand that they need to show you what connects to Fear Itself and what's important, I don't think it needs a quarter of the page or even a third of the page that could be taken up, by beautiful artwork instead. So there's my rant about that. I've really been enjoying the Wolverine books recently, the Jason Aaron written Wolverine books, despite what you may have heard on those reviews. And I've been enjoying the X-Men books as well, so especially the Uncanny X-Force book. So I picked these up with the understanding that maybe these will be just more stories about these same characters that I'll like just as much as I like the others. And I kind of forgot about that as I was reading this book, so it didn't really play a big factor into how I felt about it. But it's generally pretty good. I wouldn't say that it's as great as anything else. There's a lot of little weird elements to it that I don't really need, like his girlfriend being involved pretty heavily. I think this is one of the first stories, if not the first story, where Melody, or whatever her name is like a main character in the story. She's actually using her reporting abilities and instincts to get some information and try to propel the story forward, or propel her career forward, I guess. Tell the people what's really happening. So there's this giant helicarrier here. You can see the ironic hammer logo on the front. This is the one that Norman Osborn built, and apparently it's got a bunch of nasty weapons on it, and it never got launched before he went crazy and got locked up. And so some underground team from England stole it to put their names on the map, but there's some ulterior motives in here, and it's come to rest over New York. So Wolverine is standing around. He's ready to he just fought this, I think this is Scarecrow here. Is that Scarecrow? I don't know what his name is, really. It's a basic Scarecrow character. He fought him and stabbed him, and then he gets the call to go take down this helicarrier or whatever. And eventually, I think the idea here in this story is that the helicarrier is going to kamikaze into New York City. So what I thought as I was reading this was like, oh, okay, Wolverine's, he's helping out whatever team's in New York at the time, and he's, taking care of some business, and then he's going to go do this thing real quick. He's going to be on this helicarrier, and that's where he's going to be for a lot of the Fear Itself. He's involved in New York City, helping out with the teams, and doing the helicarrier thing, and maybe going back to helping out the teams, or ending on the helicarrier, something like that, right? New York City, right? And wearing this outfit, right? Well, not according to the other books either. Now, I know not everybody cares about where Wolverine is or where main characters are and how they're all over the place all the time, but it's getting more and more difficult to say that, well, he did this part first, and then he did this other part, and then he's doing this other thing, right? You could say that a lot of times before because time is all relative in this situation, but this is happening at the same time. This is one big event. This is Fear Itself gripping the globe, everybody handling it different ways, right? And he's in two places at once, and I'll talk about this one in my other review, but that's what really bothers me. You gotta kind of accept it and go with the flow, but he's really literally changing out of his costume and stopping this part of his adventure to go do something else while everybody else is doing one thing. You know what I mean? He's all over the place, and it's kind of it's not that cool, right? But I guess the intent here is that this is a standalone Wolverine story involving the players in Fear Itself. It doesn't really seem like this ties too much into Fear itself on its own, because it has nothing to do with the hammer wielders or generally instilling fear yet. Maybe it does eventually, but not yet. And then so it's probably meant to stand on its own as a story just basically involving Wolverine. So Wolverine fans have more to read. I think I showed you this picture before, yeah. But you may not have noticed the people hanging from underneath here. And if you look at this panel here, they're actually hanging by their necks. And that's them dead. So it's making people afraid. But I thought that was pretty gruesome and pretty interesting, that these people that took over this helicarrier not only killed all the prisoners or POWs or whatever that they had, but also strung them from underneath the helicarrier while they flew around, so that everybody would see that that's what they did. Pretty interesting. Aside from that, it's okay. I actually enjoyed it more than I expected to. I was thinking that it was going to be much worse. But you get some Wolverine interactions in here that are interesting, and then some of them that aren't so interesting. Like his fight with that Scarecrow guy was okay. It seemed like he was getting ready to stab them, but then he just put smoke up the mask or whatever, which is kind of dumb. And then you got like his weird beard stubble-ish kind of stuff that you don't normally see in the middle there, and Melita kind of looks weird too. But anyway, I like Wolverine as a character. I like reading his adventures, but I don't like how this doesn't really fit into the rest of what's going on with the event. So I wish it would a little bit more. I'll probably keep getting it just because I'm generally enjoying Fear itself and I enjoy Wolverine. So there you go. Maybe they've done their job regardless, right? So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Plus it's only $2.99, right? So if it's $1 cheaper already, then that's halfway selling me anyway. So there you go, 3 out of 5. Wolverine Fear itself, number 1. I think it's of 3. So if you enjoyed this review, then check out my other reviews under Spidey207 on YouTube, and under Peteparker on either the Marvel and DC databases or Comic Vine or iFanboy. All great sites, all great places to check out reviews. If you don't care for this review, then thanks for watching, at least to this point anyway, and we'll talk to you next time.